can't. The door is over there. Actually, it's over there. Love Zayden, my husband. She pissed me off so much. I was, in fact, very much spoiled. Because what do you mean, Reich Meadows? Are you kidding me? Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video, we are going to be doing my February and my March wrap up. So I wasn't going to do a February wrap up just because I only read 2 books in that month and I'm kind of just getting out of a reading slump. So I kind of just combined February and March into one video so you guys could see what I've been reading. So let's start out with some statistics. So in February, I read 2 books. I read 1 dystopian, 1 romance. I read 816 pages and my average rating was 4.75 stars. So starting off strong in February, I read A Funny Story by Emily Henry. This has slowly become one of my new favorite books. I absolutely loved reading this book. In this book, we follow Daphne and Miles, and basically Daphne had an ex-boyfriend and his name is Peter. Peter's best friend from his childhood, her name is Petra. Petra was dating Miles. They broke up, Petra and Miles, and Peter and Daphne broke up, and then Petra and Peter started dating, who were the best friends since childhood. So Miles and Daphne were the result of this whole big breakup thing. Now, not only were Daphne and Miles put in this weird place together, but they also started living together as well. Whenever I talk about any honestly book by Emily Henry that I've read, even though I've only read 2, I still have such a big smile on my face because I love her books so much. They genuinely just make me feel some type of way that not a lot of authors do. This book was genuinely just so wholesome, and I feel like even some quotes from Emily Henry are just absolutely fantastic. I see myself highlighting and tabbing so many quotes that not just relate to like the story but also relate to me and like I connect with, and I feel like that's such an important part of books as well, that obviously you connect with either the characters or what the author is trying to say. I honestly feel like this could be one of my favorite books of the entire year. Honestly, I just absolutely loved this book. I loved the guy in the book. I feel like he genuinely just stepped up, and you know, like there was some issues that came on, but of course we solved those, and of course it was a happy ending, and I thought it was a 5 stars while I was reading it at the beginning, but once we got to the middle, there was just some things that like I wasn't loving about the book, so I felt like I couldn't rate it a 5 stars. But I did rate it a 4.75, so pretty much close enough. I 100% recommend this book absolutely so much. Like, Emily Henry absolutely devoured with this book. Let me just say, it was amazing. I'm obsessed with it and I can't stop talking about it. So if you want a fun, cute, rom-com-y type book that also has like a lot of depth and like emotional aspects to it, you should definitely pick this one up. Next, we have Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. Don't even get me started. Okay, so of course, we all hopefully know the Shatter Me series. If you don't, then you've probably been living under a rock at this point because the Shatter Me series is so well known, at least among the book talk people. And Ignite Me is famously known for a specific quote that Mr. Aaron Warner says, and also some things that he does in here as well. Without any spoilers, that's all I'm gonna kind of give you on the actual book, because this is the 3rd in the series if you don't count the novellas, but if you do count the novellas, then it's the 4th. So there's not really much that I can tell you. If you do want to know more about the first book and what it's actually about, you can go to my other wrap up when I actually talked about the first book and what the first book is about. But obviously this book is way further into the series, so there's going to be a lot more different things that happened in here, and obviously I don't want to spoil anything. I will tell you that I tabbed this book more than I tabbed, I think, any book that I've ever read, which is crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever tabbed a book this much, and it was just fantastic. I originally had this at a 5 stars, but kind of the same thing with Funny Story, but different. I feel like I rated it a 5 stars when I first read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this book so much, like it's my favorite ever. And then I kind of like thought about it, and literally just before I started filming this, I looked over my Fable and saw that I rated it 5 stars, and I was like, I really don't feel like that anymore. Like, I don't feel like it's actually 5 stars anymore. I loved it. Is it 5-star worthy? I don't think so though. So I bumped it down, and just like, funny story, it is a 4.75. But again, absolutely amazing. There's nothing, honestly, that I hated about this book. I think it had a great mix of not only like romance, but also like the politics and everything, and the war and the fights that go on in this book. And it was honestly amazing. I don't think I was ever at a boring part in this book. I don't think I was ever bored. But like, genuinely, I can't. I love Aaron Warner so much. You know, specific character to you, if you know who I'm talking about, the door's over there. You can leave. Actually, the door's over there. I'm so excited to continue the series also, because I heard that like the first few are great, but once you get to like, I think Defy Me is like everybody's like favorite. Like Ignite Me and Defy Me, I think, are like the top of all of them. So I'm super excited to get to the rest of the series, but this book was absolutely fantastic. If you haven't picked up the Shatter Me series, you have to. It is a dystopian novel, and basically what that means, if you don't know, is it's placed in the future of the world, whereas fantasy is placed in a completely different world. So yeah, it's great, and you 100% need to pick this up. Okay, now moving into March. In the month of March, I read 3 books, 2 romances, 1 fantasy romance. I read 1,273 pages, and my average rating was a 3.6. Like I said before, I've been in a reading slump that I think I kind of just got out of. I'm still kind of patiently waiting to see, but I think I'm out of it, considering I read like 50% of the book last night and finished my book last night. So I think I'm out of it. Yay! Woo! But I fear the book that I'm about to talk about kind of enhanced the reading slump, unfortunately, which is not something I think I would have ever said, especially this being one of my most anticipated books of 2025. We have Onyx Storm. If you guys watched my Onyx Storm reading vlog, you would know that I kind of had no clue what was going on throughout this entire book. And I know that's so bad, but I genuinely like couldn't figure out what was happening. There were characters that I was so confused. I was like, how did you even get here? And I was just very confused all in general. And I feel like that was also, I said this before, with the entire Empyrean series in general, I feel like I can read a fantasy and know what's going on, know our goals, know what's happening, and what we're trying to do. But with this series, I have no clue what's happening. So yeah, that was basically my thought process throughout this entire book, was just confusion. There was also a lot of disappointment, because we had a goal and we were going throughout the entire book, obviously, to get to the goal. And then 70% of the way, we were set right back to the beginning of the book, right to square one. And it was just ridiculous in my mind. And I feel like the ending didn't make up for the book, but the ending made sense. I don't really know how else to describe it. I did like Riddick though. Riddick is my favorite. He has my entire heart and I love him so much. So that was great. I did have a good few laughs. Love Xaden, my husband. I don't really know what else to say about this book. I rated it a 3 stars. I was pretty disappointed. I feel like the ending, like last page ending, was disappointing, but the ending leading up to the last page was pretty good. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So yeah, I guess those are my thoughts on Onyx Storm. But if you want my like initial reactions and like my genuine reactions, you should go watch my Onyx Storm reading vlog. But yeah, so I think a 3 stars definitely fits this book. Now, although that book did disappoint me, did you hear that? And now, although that book did disappoint me, this book didn't. Here we have, of course, Taming Seven by Chloe Walsh. This is the last book, or 5th book, in the Boys of Tommen series. And I shouldn't say last book, because there is another one that just got not released, but announced, which I'm so excited about. I do have a few things to say about this book that I think a lot of people can agree with me on. First, starting out, I want to say that me and Gerard Gibson have so much in common that it's like actually kind of terrifying, and it's not anything like bad. Like, if you've read the book, do not freak out, okay? It's the way that we handle situations and the way that we like think is just so similar. I don't think I've ever connected with a character more than I did Gerard Gibson, and I feel like that is why I liked this book so much. I mean, like, obviously I connect with all the characters in Boys of Tommen. I love all the characters. I love all the books. But I feel like I've never connected to any of the characters, not even just Boys of Tommen, but in books in general. I've never connected to a character like I did Gibbsy. I think that's definitely why this book, like, has such a special place in my heart, honestly. Not only that, but I feel like Claire and Gibbsy were just, obviously they were meant to be. We knew this from when they were children. You see in the rest of the Boys of Tommen series, even before this, that they are literally meant to be together. If you didn't know already, if you didn't catch on, this is Gibbsy and Claire's book. Gibbsy is Johnny's best friend and Claire is Shannon's best friend. I went into this book unfortunately spoiled, and I didn't realize that I was spoiled. I thought what I knew was common sense. Well, not common sense, but I thought that we already knew this information, or was going to find out about this at the beginning of the book, and unfortunately I was in fact very much spoiled. So when we got told the information that I got spoiled for, I was not shocked whatsoever, which is really sad because I mean, it was supposed to be crazy, you know? So the entire time when the character was talking about something and, you know, making second thoughts, second decisions, you know, I knew why, whereas other readers who didn't get spoiled didn't know why, and I feel like they kind of just took away from the experience of this book, which I'm so sad about. But I mean, what are you gonna do about it? Overall, this book was so good and it was so heartwarming, and I loved seeing all the characters in here. Speaking of seeing all the characters in here, why was Lizzie Young so talked about? And I know so many people can agree with me, and I'm gonna be so completely honest, she pissed me off so much, but reading is it claiming? Oh my gosh, what is it? It's releasing. Whatever the new book is that Chloe Walsh just announced with Lizzie, reading that and understanding Lizzie more through that, I can understand her actions in this book. I just won't accept them because, like, why would you act that way? And I can't even, like, say anymore. Just, like, why would you act that way towards a certain person? Yeah, I just feel like we focused a lot on Lizzie and didn't really get too much into Claire and Gibbsy. I also feel like I didn't really connect with Claire or, like, get to know Claire, honestly. I feel like in the other books with Shannon and Aoife, we saw her alone a lot, and I feel like we didn't see her alone very much in this book. So, like, there wasn't much to learn about her. We kind of just saw her with other people all the time. So I feel like I don't really know Claire that much, and I feel like I can't connect with her very much. But again, I'm so happy that I read this book because I was really nervous going into it, considering what everybody was saying about it, as well as me knowing the spoilers about this book. So I was really scared, but it was really good. I'm gonna rate it a 4.75. I did rate all the other books in the Boys of Tommen series a 5 stars. So this is the first one that is not a 5 stars, but it's still a 4.75. So it's still really fantastic. But yeah, so that was Taming 7. And lastly, we have Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is the second book in the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. The first one is Addicted to You, and the second one is Ricochet. This is actually not a novella. It may look like a novella because it's super small, but it is a time period in between something that happens. So I feel like this was definitely a needed book, and I really enjoyed reading it, honestly. I did finish it last night, and this was the book that I literally read like 50% of in one night, which isn't really surprising considering it's only like 100 pages or so. But I really, really liked the first one, and I'm super excited to continue with the rest of the series. So I decided to pick up Ricochet, and this was really good. I rated this the exact same as I rated Addicted to You. If anything, I may or may not have liked this one a little bit more just because of the characters that we got in this book. We got the same characters in Addicted to You, but I feel like this, it kind of showed more of who they were. Especially at the beginning, we got 2 characters that we mainly focused on, as well as Lily. But we got 2 characters that we mainly focused on in the beginning of this book, and then 2 other characters that we mainly focused on at the end of this book, and I absolutely ate it up. I'm so excited to read about the other sisters because what do you mean Reich Meadows? Are you kidding me? That man, I love him. I love him so much. And he's such a little diva too. He's so sassy. Loved this book. I think the boat was great. If you know what I'm talking about, there's a boat scene later towards the end of the book, and it's for Daisy's birthday, and it was great. I loved it. It was so funny. I was cracking up the whole time. When I can't even tell you how many times I laughed at this book. And even with Addicted to You, both of them, I love this series so far, and I'm so excited to get back into it. Although I'm only rating it a 3.5, I did also rate Addicted to You a 3.5, but I don't know. I just didn't connect with it as much as I thought I would because everybody loves this series so much. And I was like, oh yeah, like it's really good. Like I love it. I didn't love it. I really liked it though. But this book was great. I'm so proud of Lily though, because you know, if you know everything that was happening, you also need to recognize her background and her parents and like how she grew up and everything. And literally, I'm just so proud of her for everything that she did in this book. I mean, considering like everything that's happening. That's Ricochet. I don't think I have anything else to say about honestly any of these books because, well, they're all gone. So I think that is going to be the end of this video because I have no more books to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.